Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Unlimited podcast. My name's Sierra Steinmetz.
Bryan Schube.
Kari Steele.
Bill Jones.
And we're the Jones Home Team.
And this is episode 59. Not that Bryan couldn't find the right sheet, but now he's on it. So we're all good. We got a few topics today. Kari's got tax policy and how it responds to the market. I probably butchered that. Sorry. Shube's got 5 things not to look at in not a home inspection, right?
A walkthrough.
A walkthrough. Thank you. Sierra, deals that died, and I got to think of some deals that have died. I'm probably could think of 100 of them. I'll think of a good one here. I got a few topics here. Zillow removes Matterport. So to the consumer, to the agents both then, you're no longer find which we just found out over the weekend here, mad clients that their Matterport 3D tour is no longer on Zillow. New home inventories jumped up a bunch, and I got another fun one I found on Facebook. So somebody that's an agent asking for help because a family member is buying with another agent. So there's some pretty hilarious comments with that. So Sierra, we'll jump into it. Right? You're starting us? Okay, perfect.
Okay, so deals that died. I feel like we probably all had that one that like made our eye twitch a little bit and just caused us the most heartache ever. And then it might not have worked out in the end and whatnot. Or in the scenario I'm going to talk about today, it was completely opposite and it happened so quick. It was like it never happened. And this deal was actually with Schube. And we had one of your properties that ended up turning into a whole about year-long thing of trying to get it sold, multiple contracts, all the things. But I had a buyer for it, and it was going to be all cash, couple inspections because it was a rural home and whatnot. And your sellers ended up accepting our offer. And so then I went to get a hold of her yesterday because we did, I think, adjust one thing, like the price or something, just a little bit. And the next day I called her to say, okay, just sent you the documents to sign, whatnot, and didn't hear back from her until way later in the day. And she simply texted me back and said, we actually changed our mind and we don't want to buy it anymore.
Oh my Lord.
And so I had to call Schube and say, they actually changed their mind and they don't want to buy it anymore. And it was the most frustrating, there's tail between your legs, I don't know, this is embarrassing, but they don't want it, even though they wrote a whole offer on it yesterday. So that's kind of awkward. And it was fine. You ended up selling it, just took a little bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I thinking back, I had 2 just off the top of my head I can think of, and both were family related, where there was a pregnancy during when they were trying to buy it, and the pregnancy wasn't part of the plan on either family or side individual. Sure. And then they're like, well, we want out. And it's like, you can't just bag out just because you got pregnant. That's not how this works. Like, you're in a legally binding contract.
Man, yeah.
Like what consequences? Well, that's up to the seller and the seller's agent if you're the buying side, or if vice versa.
Sure.
What do your sellers want to do? So
I was going to say, I just had one not too long ago, maybe a handful of months ago, kind of opposite of you. So we were, I think, the day before closing, we were working on scheduling closing. We had the closing scheduled. Bank called. I was representing the seller. The buyer's lender called to do an employment verification and found out that they just decided to up and quit their job and never tell anybody.
Yeah.
The buyer's agent scheduled the final walkthrough. They did the final walkthrough. The buyer just decided he didn't think it was important enough to tell his agent that he quit his job. He just told his agent that he was available whenever. So,
well,
yeah, probably because you don't have a job.
Was it you or Bill that had one where somebody that was selling it died? I don't remember if it was the seller that died or the buyer that died, but it was 3 days before closing or something.
We've had a lot of people pretty close to dying, but I'm trying to think we've had anybody
that's
actually
everybody
die.
that's buying or selling a house.
Yeah,
Agents
I barely made it.
Eye twitching, yeah.
Did we ever have one that died?
I thought it was somebody that died.
I'm sure we've had somebody die.
It wasn't that long ago. It's been within 6 months probably.
Oh, no. I don't think it's been less than that I can think of. Maybe. I don't know.
I thought it was.
Well, I can't. I wrote them down. I probably have 100 of them. I can't think of one.
You could write a book.
Right. We had probably one of the weirdest ones in Findlay with Jason Algie had the listing. Actually, the guy that was selling the house is actually an agent now here. Mm-hmm. He was flipping homes, had it done. Jason had the buyer, and they had inspections done. This guy was talking about trying to move in early beforehand. I don't think he had any earnest money down. And we showed up to the closing at Rooney's, I believe, and this guy just never showed up. Jason called him, nothing. And the dude just never responded to him. I mean, this was like a month later. We were still trying to track the guy down, and he just was gone. So he was moving from out of state, looked at the house 3 or 4 times probably with him, and Jason's, I have no idea.
Oh my
The guy's
gosh.
just gone.
It's just gone.
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was so many years ago. I wish I had the details of it then too. But yeah, that was just a weird one. And that guy was just all about it and wanted it. But so we're working with one now. I can't tell the story at the moment, but
Right.
kind of the same thing. Is it should have been a slam dunk and is just not
Crickets.
turning into it. So yeah, I want the house so bad for 2 weeks, and then suddenly, just as soon as they get it, just cold feet and I don't
Isn't
know.
it crazy? The deals that you think are going to just close seamlessly are just a hot mess. And then
Yes.
the ones that you're like, this should be a quick, easy sale.
Right.
And it's like 3 months.
Yeah.
No, this one, this guy literally for 2 straight weeks has been just dying to get this place, and now
Yeah.
it's just as soon as he gets it under contract, now it's just sudden.
That's just-
I don't know. I'm not sure if we're gonna move forward. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's
Sounds like a
that's-
high-low personality,
Oh my
like me. Like, yeah, let's
gosh.
do it. I don't know.
I guess so. I guess more often than not, you guys usually have got them sold. I believe. I mean, I can't think of a whole lot
Yeah.
of
Barring
properties
nothing
that,
catastrophic. I
right.
mean,
Barring they don't change their mind the next day.
or quit their
Usually.
job.
Yeah,
Quit their job.
Right. I know the fear is always too is the seller, whoever that is, going to be in a worse situation, which sometimes they take a little bit
Yeah.
of a beating, but a lot of times I've had them come out just as well or better than what they would have. But
I think there's been ones that in the process of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually just kind of wish this would all go away.
Yeah.
And like just
Yeah.
when it gets really into the thick of things, if there's a lot going on with it, and in the moment you're just all in your
At
head and
wit's
you
end.
just wish it would just all go away, and then it ends up working out.
Then
and
it
it's
just
like
starts
I'm
to
glad
go
we did that.
swimmingly.
Yes, but like sometimes you just really hit that valley with it, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, what if I call Kari and ask if she wants to
Yeah,
handle this instead?
Exactly.
It's not how it works, but sometimes that's how you feel
Oh, yeah.
for
Yep.
about 5 minutes, and then it's
yeah, they
fine.
can be tough. Yeah, people like the change of heart. Like it's one thing you do an inspection, find something that's bad with the house, or your financing goes haywire. But yeah, just the ones that just get cold feet. It's
That's
We give them the
annoying.
riot act too before you write it. Like, listen, like you just
Yeah.
said, legally binding contract. This isn't just
Yeah.
like, oh, I bought a sweater, now I want to return it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you're buying a house. It's a little bigger
Yeah.
deal.
I feel like more often I have or a buyer that will start messaging me being like, I need this house right now.
Yeah.
Right.
We look at it 2, maybe 3 times, and then they're like, start asking all the questions finally. And then it's like, okay, this is our 3rd time that we've seen it, and now you're thinking about this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And then it ends up
Right.
not going anywhere, and you've wasted 3 nights in a row
Yeah.
at 7 p.m. for no reason.
Sure.
But
Yeah, the ones that I really like are the ones where the agents are like blowing you up before they've even been
Yeah.
in the house. Like, we're writing an offer, we'll, whatever. And then you're like,
Crickets.
hey, why don't you go look at it first? And then they go look at it, and then you never hear back from
Literally.
them. And it's just
I've,
like,
I've so
okay,
been
thanks
guilty
for-
of that before in the past.
that's like the
Yeah.
one that
Because-
we just had over the weekend, and I don't even think they looked at
The
it.
buyers,
No,
because the
no.
buyers, they get all like, yeah, like this is going to happen. We're going to
Yeah.
make an offer. So then as an agent, you get all psyched. Like, this is going to happen. So you're
Yeah,
trying to
nothing.
do your preliminary work. And then 15 minutes and they're out the door. It's like, crap.
It's almost better that deal dies before it starts. Yeah,
Right.
you get
Yes.
grilled about everything with the house.
Yeah.
It's like, just go look at it. Like,
Yeah.
how about you look at it first, and we'll get to the questions.
Yes.
So,
That's it. I just had a call like that over the weekend. And
Right.
they were like trying to haggle. And I'm like, you don't even, like, first off, you don't even know what your closing costs are. You haven't been in the house. Like,
Right.
you're trying to do this
Right.
deal.
Yeah,
you don't
cart-
even
cart before the
actually know if
horse.
you
And they
like
didn't
this
have an
house.
agent. I was like, what a mess. And then, of course, I have a duty to my seller. So I'm like
Sure.
presenting half-assed details to
Right.
an unrepresented buyer. Like, this is so stupid. You're putting me in a bad position again.
yeah, that's
Annoying.
I don't know. Yeah, go look at it. Whether you get into even though you can't get on Zillow's 3D tours right now, go look at the house. We'll find you a way to it then. So, all right, cool. Sure, Kari, who wants to go next?
I can pop in.
Don't fight over it. All right.
Tax tax policy and how it responds to the market. I'm not going to get political, hopefully, here and unbiased.
Oh, let's.
Well, and unbiased too. Well, first off, I'm not educated enough in the political world. The kids will actually tell you I had that game called Smartass, and it's like drilling you on questions, and you have to be quick to respond, but respond with the right answer. And the question was name 3 branches of the government, and I just blanked, and I'm literally staring there like, I should know this. I had it in every grade from 3rd grade on up.
You're
and I'm
just put on the spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, Mr. Edmond would be so mad right now about that. hang my head. So that, prelude to my tax topic here. But Ohio has had several recent and upcoming property bills, tax related with the Ohio House. They're trying to provide relief by limiting tax increases to inflation and then capping certain unvoted taxes. So I think what they're trying to do isn't necessarily eliminate it altogether, though we will talk about that, is to offset how quickly inflation happened with some of those like COVID type houses.
Sure.
So I think that's how, again, trying to stay non-biased here, I think that's what the citizens are trying to do. So they've made changes to property tax levies effective January 1 of 26. So that's for the state of Ohio. I'm sure other states have it, but this is pertaining to our state. That'll eliminate new replacement emergency level levies, allowing existing levies to be renewed based on historical tax rates. There's also proposals for large reforms, and that's House Bill 186, and that's going to limit tax increases and proposed constitutional amendments to eliminate property taxes entirely. So they are trying to eliminate them entirely, but in the meantime, they're trying to offset that huge jump between what happened, between 2018 and now. It
was such a big jump too. I mean, it's
huge,
staggering for a lot of people.
And you think about, your grandparents that have the family farm and, the houses around it and all before they're going, day to day or budget to budget and they're just paying their bills. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom.
Yeah. Your tax bill doubled or tripled now.
Yeah. So legislation that's actually passed, and again, this is January 1, 26, 2 veto overrides from the state budget on new property taxes. 1, no new replacement levies. So local governments can no longer ask voters to replace an expiring levy with a new one based on current property values. So in a place like Tiffin, where property taxes did jump significantly, then they're, the levy 2026 it starts, they can no longer ask voters to do that. And then the other one is no new emergency levies, which again, I said I'm not going to be biased, but I don't know if I necessarily agree or disagree with this one, but local officials cannot approve new fixed-year emergency levies for school funding. So those are two that for sure 2026 are already implemented. And then recent Ohio House bills, I'm not going to read all of these, but if you want to go on and learn more about them, House Bill 186, House Bill 335, House Bill 129, and House Bill 309. So,
yeah, we didn't know this site existed here then too.
Right?
So,
yeah.
Ohio House, ohiohouse.gov. Pulled up, and you can search all kind of stuff. We just put in tax, and it pulls up all kind of stuff that's on the roll, stuff that's already passed.
And I did ask the general public, what are your thoughts on the proposed tax? Some of the issues that are on the ballot, and one viewer said that his property tax has gone up 23% since 2023.
Wow.
We're just talking a couple years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And a first-time home buyer who, if their house payment and their taxes are all rolled into one, they may no longer be able to afford the house that they bought in 2023. Mm-hmm. Because if you're on a fixed budget or a fixed income, what your
you bought the house based on that.
Like I work at so-and-so and my check is $1,700 and something before taxes, times that by 2 for the month, and this is what I have to work with every month. They may not, be able to afford that.
Yeah, here's the one. Phase down state income tax to a flat rate of 2.75.
Yeah, I like that. So. I like how those steps are in there where they can kind of see where it's at the state level. And then another one said we'll have to eat the savings somewhere else. Lots of services will be lost with our property tax. So yeah, I mean, I would say that when you don't go down the rabbit hole and you're just like, abolish property taxes, no more property taxes. That's cool and well, but what are the disadvantages? What are the advantages? Right. What are the disadvantages of both? And does it make sense? I think, and again, non-biased, non-political, we have to take care of our seniors and our vets and the people who really, truly can't make the payments. They've worked their whole life. And I was telling you, Bill, somebody commented this big, long post, and I was trying to go back to find it. And one of the topics that they said that I was like, wow, that makes really good sense. It was to implement an initial tax on a property so that when you're first buying your house, you get hit with this balloon payment of tax, and then that's it for the remaining, and not with inflation, but just that balloon tax. I don't know how that would really hold up, but I mean, that kind of makes sense. Or if you did it when you bought it and did it when you sold it or something like that, instead of just all throughout. I'm sure, again, no matter what they do, it's cause and effect, and eventually it's going to come out in the wash.
Unintended consequences that come with it then.
Well, I always say, you don't know what you don't know. So you could make a really educated decision, but at the end of the day, is that going to make sense for everybody, including
Yeah.
yourself. Sometimes we're working against ourselves.
I love that idea that tax or the abolishing of that, but they didn't have a replacement for anything, So they're like, well, they'll just figure it out. Local communities will figure it out. So,
how
which
are
I
they
guess
gonna
you
figure it
would,
out?
but yeah, if suddenly there's no money.
Or if it's illegal to do so, if they put
Right.
a ban on it and you can't go out and do your own levy, then
Right.
Then
Because
what?
I just saw, I don't remember where it was. I don't know if it was the state of Ohio or another state that was talking about abolishing it. But they're like, the property tax the property tax amount that it brings in was like 22 or 23 billion dollars. And so they're like, where that money's got to come, they're going to
where
have
you
to make
getting the
that
money?
up somewhere.
Yeah.
So are they going to raise, tax
And they will.
sales
They'll
tax
raise-
or
they'll raise something.
whatever. So
It's just like the post office, the UPS or USPS drivers are making X amount of dollars. So what do they do? Raise the stamps. Like you're going to pay for it, somehow, some way.
Yeah, I don't know how you get away from it completely then. So, all right, cool. Well, I guess much to come with that, and we obviously don't know enough about it. So, and really, is it worth paying attention? I'm sure it is.
Well,
I know it's not like not a good citizen, but what are any of us going to do about these 47 bills that are on the floor?
And
I thought you were
maybe
gonna
it's
go down
all
there and
irrelevant.
protest.
Yeah, maybe. I might. I just might.
I'm not the protesting kind,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to at least be somewhat educated on your property tax and how it affects you
Sure.
personally and your house payment. Because if we as agents, I could care less about all of the legislation that's happening everywhere, and I should care, but I just have a lot of things, eating healthy, paying my bills, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But I think it's important for you to know as a home buyer, and not necessarily your agent should be shoving that information down your throat,
Sure.
but just have that little, you hear it and you put it on a shelf and it's there. And you at least know
Right.
that whatever you pay monthly on your house payment, that's all lumped together with your property taxes. Things like this will affect or
Will
not
definitely
affect it.
affect it for sure.
So
yeah.
if your house payment's $1,200 and you're okay with that, and then next year it's $1,400 and you're like, crap,
Yeah.
I would have bought a nicer house if I know I was going to pay $1,400 a month.
Either your
or
tax would be
whatever.
even more than from that one. So I guess something to keep in mind from an agent perspective is the clients, rightfully so expect us to figure a lot of stuff out or know a lot of things, but we can't know everything.
know
We
everything.
can't keep up on that. But if somebody,
we try.
yeah, if a client throws this in front of you, at least you've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess things are being cooked at the moment. So
And
we'll
I've
see
never
what-
seen that website, so that's cool too.
Yeah, it is cool.
Not that I don't know if I'll ever go to that website again. But if there's something,
Yeah.
But if there's something that you go to vote for and you see it, like how many times as an adult voter do you go and they have the little cards and you're like, I don't even know anything about that,
Right.
And you just try to make the best informed decision you can.
All right. Shube, what are you into here?
Yeah, just talking. When you're doing a showing, things buyers may look at that really they shouldn't be looking at. First, staging and furniture. Obviously, the house is staged. That furniture is probably not coming with the house. They're trying to make the house look nice, but obviously you want to look past that because again, that furniture is more than likely not staying. It's not going to be your furniture.
Right.
You need to be able to picture your furniture, where your dressers and end tables and stuff like that are going to be. Paint colors and wallpaper. Again, you're going to probably want to change up the house to fit your guys' needs. So obviously, the paint colors that are there, the wallpaper that are there, look past those because again, those are things that you can change, kind of make your own.
That's one that always drives me nuts. Like someone will have a more maybe like eclectic taste in color choices, which I'm a fan of. I love that. I don't like grays and all that, but like a buyer will be like, well, I don't know. There's a lot going on. No, the house is fine. You just need to repaint the kitchen.
Paint's easy. I've had people not buy a house over paint.
Right.
So yeah, that's. I'm like, do I need to come paint it? You don't want me painting your house.
Flashy kitchen finishes. New appliances and pretty countertops are appealing, but they don't always mean the kitchen is functional. Open drawers, check cabinet quality. Make sure there's enough prep space and storage. Make sure there's enough cabinets. You need to kind of walk around the kitchen, act like you're using it to kind of make sure it fits your needs and fits what's going to work best for you guys. Smart tech and surround sound. Again, these are great things to have. However, one of the things this points out is, turn that off or turn it down. Make sure do they have it on or do they have it for a specific reason? Is the traffic loud? Things like that. Are they trying to cover something up with the sound, that you can't hear outside?
When I think of, they next to the airport
Yeah.
or the railroad track. Yeah.
Or, it's Friday night, you live next to a football stadium, and every Friday night you're going to be hearing, the speakers and the band and everything else. So it's just something to keep in mind. Luxury materials with substance. Don't be dazzled by designer finishes if the home core systems are outdated. Obviously you can have an all marble bathroom or something fancy, but what about the plumbing, the HVAC, the roof, the water heater? You need to ask about those, because again, an all marble bathroom may be nice, but if you have to replace the plumbing in a year and you have to tear it all out, then it really doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
So just try to more focus on the structure or the main things of the house, and not necessarily the small things like the paint, granite countertops, those sorts of things. So
that number 5, that's the lipstick on a pig we always talk about.
Yeah,
Them
that's
too.
what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah. Looks pretty, but still a pig. Cool. So, quote Bryan Schube, don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, we did have one that closed recently that when we did the showing and then also the walkthrough, we did not pay attention to the cleanliness because it was a collective and it had a really cool ambiance and it had a whole vibe. But then you look closer at the cleaning and it's like it was not clean at all. So if you're looking at, how the seller lives and you're the buyer, that could play havoc with the deal.
Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right, just to be clean. Broom clean means what? Just stuff's out of the house.
I mean,
shouldn't
it should
be gross.
Clean enough. Yeah, it should be clean enough that if you are moving, that you can throw a pizza in the oven, warm it up while you're,
right.
know.
I was going to say, because I just had this exact same situation with a couple of investors as well. They bought a house. The way the contract reads is it's supposed to be in broom swept condition when we get there, and they literally got a huge dumpster and they filled that thing. And it's just like, again, that's you as the seller. And it was a weird situation with the agent on the other side. However, I don't think he ever reached out to his seller because we're like, hey, is this dude ever going to come get this stuff? I was sending him pictures of all of the items, and it's just,
And
again,
you can offer.
Unfortunately, the seller's going to be responsible for the cost of the dumpster.
Exactly.
They're going to be responsible for
The
getting the stuff
manpower.
out.
Yeah. Because it's
like,
one thing to be like, oh, I'll throw $500 in escrow for a dumpster, but who's going to move all that
Yeah,
stuff?
do all the stuff there. So I just had to Google real
Yeah.
quick. So broom clean, this is just the first thing that popped up in Google.
Okay.
It means a house should be free of all personal belongings, trash, and debris, with all floors swept or vacuumed. Standard expectation in real estate contracts, but does not require professional deep cleaning. Sellers must remove all personal property and leave only fixtures and anything explicitly agreed upon in the contract to remain. So, what
about appliances if they stay? Can they be filthy?
They're just grutty, I guess. I don't know.
I guess whatever condition they were in
when they saw it.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't add to the gross, I guess. But I mean, if they were gross, I guess they might be that way.
But they probably just stopped cleaning to start packing, because then you're kind of torn between should I be deep cleaning? Because I did have one of those too, totally different house. They're like, I wish I would have done more. I wanted to get that trim piece up. I wanted to do this and that, but I was packing. I had to get at a time.
Well, I guess we all think like, how would I leave a house? I'm not going to leave it with my old pizza crust stains in the oven and just gross refrigerator.
Like if that's how they live, they don't know any. It's kind of like when you have that stink smell and they don't know.
It's kind of funny because I'll go into a house that's just packed, and it's like they're like, hey, this is what they clean it, but they half-ass it.
Yeah.
And then you get into somebody who really maintains their house, and then before, when we're the day before closing or something, or the week before, they're like, we're gonna have a professional cleaner come in and clean. I'm like, well, you leave your house cleaner. Your house is cleaner than most homes are left at the end.
Right.
Have somebody come
you'll
in
be
and
fine.
clean.
Yep. Oh man. All right.
That is really kind though for someone to offer to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just send them to my house. I've always got something to clean.
But we got one coming up here. We've had several of them full of stuff here too recently. Got another one coming up that's jammed. So, but they've already gotten rid of a lot. They said. We'll see what it looks like, I guess. I guess just expectations from a buyer standpoint. I guess that's true. If the refrigerator looks like that now, I guess if you want it clean, we better write that into the purchase agreement or make sure it's clear.
At least be clean enough you can bring your boxes in and set them down without having like corners of dog hair and like dust and debris.
That's what happened to my parents, because the people were still living there when they looked at it.
Sure.
So then when all the cabinets and everything were cleaned out, and when certain items were moved out that were big that you couldn't really just look under or whatever, it was kind of really gross. Not terrible, but like we were having to scrub things that you wouldn't think you'd need to scrub moving into a new house. So
God, their agent was terrible.
yeah,
that guy,
their agent did not do
that
his due
guy did
diligence.
terrible. Apparently, he didn't help him look. That house looked great though.
No, it
Like
did,
away
it
from
did.
when you're through there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I know what you're talking
But
about
when
when
you
everything's
take
when
out
you
of
start
all
there.
the
moving
So.
cereal
stuff.
boxes and
Sounds like that.
the chocolate syrup containers.
Yes, that's what
Sounds
I'm
like that
saying.
agent should have spent a weekend helping clean.
Probably
Yeah.
it was broom clean. We just
Hey.
read the definition. It was definitely
Listen,
broom clean.
All
so.
of us agents have been in a position where we're doing something that we don't want to do for
Right.
Oh, for sure.
for cleaning or moving or packing.
all
or-
the things.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll keep rocking and rolling here. Zillow. I don't know if I can pull this up here. So, of course, so we're going Zillow Homes.com again for the 400th time. They just are like two kids just picking on each other in the playground. Just it never stopped. But this now directly affects the consumer. Carrie, we were just talking about this, right? So
Yeah.
we've got a listing. Actually, we got several of them now. So our office has a Matterport 3D camera. I won't pull it up what it looks like then too, but it does a 3D tour scan of the home. We can attach it to the listing. So you go online, you can see what that home looks like, do a virtual walkthrough for the home. But now Zillow no longer has access. I heard both stories, and I've heard Zillow pulled back Matterport, but it sounds like Homes.com, which is CoStar, LoopNet, I can't think of the whole group of what it is. And they own Matterport. Like all these companies keep buying each other up. So they now own Matterport. They did not renew their API license with Zillow or forbid them from using it. So they took their ball and went home, basically. So they said, we got the Matterport 3D Tour. We own this $1 billion acquisition. Now Zillow, you can no longer use it. So Zillow says, fine, we have our own thing we'll put out there. But in the meantime, we've got listings that don't. So Sierra, you recognize this one here. You and I had that. We had a beautiful 3D tour on that. And it was right here was a nice little button that said, click for 3D tour, gone. No longer a thing. So and I had a couple others here. I'll probably screw it up if I click over to it then. But that's not a thing anymore. So same thing on this property. So we got currently listed. Again, had a Matterport tour, but Zillow says that's fine. We have our own 3D tour. So they now are enacting that more so than what they were relying on Matterport. So this one, luckily, we did do a separate thing from Matterport, which is a 3D tour that's now on there. But they're squabbling over who has right. They're also fighting over picture rights.
Yeah.
And then, like Schube, you made a comment then too before we went on. So we have that link, that 3D tour, or it's on homes.com. But where does a consumer go? Zillow is overwhelmingly still the 800-pound gorilla. That's where they get most of the traffic. When people think of homes, they generally go there for good or bad. It is what it is. It's just you call a spade, they're there. And that's not there anymore. So now if someone says, I want to see it, okay, never mind, go to homes.com, or I'll send you a separate link, or I'll do whatever. So I don't know what so here we put together the bullets. So competition's good, forcing innovation, more 3D tours. Again, maybe end up with better tech, better features, things like that. Homes.com, their big thing is, your listing, your lead, gives agents control over that. But again, they're just taking their toy and leaving here. So CoStar's, it wasn't $1 billion. $1.6 billion acquisition of Matterport means deeper investment into the virtual tour tech and listing quality. Zillow quickly pivoted, like we just talked here, promoting Zillow 3D home tours and their other platforms. So consumers now have multiple strong portals to shop instead of one dominant giant. So it's getting into, again, just to drag Compass back into it then as well. Everybody's like wanting to have their own little kingdoms here and not necessarily share information, which I get. We spend all the time, money, and energy to get these pictures, get these tours, do that kind of stuff. We've just shared all of it with all these other portals. They've made money off of it. Now they're all fighting on who gets to use what and how they're using it. Yeah, you can use it, but it's got to keep our branding. It's got to keep our watermarks, our everything, but they don't want to do that. So Homes.com isn't going to want to promote Zillow. Zillow's not going to want to promote Homes.com. Compass isn't going to want to promote our brokerage, but I don't know what the right or wrong answer is with any of this stuff too. So the good, the bad, the ugly. So the ugly, CoStar and Zillow are suing each other. CoStar claims Zillow stole 46,000 images. Zillow calls it weaponized litigation. Both companies accuse the other of misleading the industry about Matterport's data sharing rules, which they both had very different takes on that then too. Matterport clients are caught in the crossfire, unsure where they can legally post their tours. So that's part of it too, depending upon which website it came from, made a big difference too. If it came from our website, I think it'd be okay. If it came from homes.com website, it wouldn't be okay then. So if I'm Zillow, am I going to risk? I need to look at where this feed is coming from, because if I post it on my website, CoStar is just waiting to write another lawsuit against me if it's coming from the wrong website. So this feud exposes how the portal wars have escalated from product rivalry to full-blown legal and PR combat.
The girls are fighting.
Yes, for sure. So I don't know what is the right answer here. There is no right answer, I guess, but if just a simple thing is, if you go to any of these websites now, I don't know what you're going to see or not see, but it just seems to continue to escalate on whether or not you're going to see a listing on someone else's website, or is it going to be a private website? The private tours, I guess, or private listings. And then the data we put out there is going to show up on these websites then as well. And I don't know how to answer the clients then too. So we got a client upset about that now. I'm sure we'll have more. Where's that 3D tour at? And we're paying for that. So we pay for that camera. We pay to host that.
We do the work to get it out to everybody.
We do all the work to put that out there. And now it's no longer, you can't find it. So again, we can say go to our website, but people don't want to go to not just our website or any agent's website. 3 different websites
for 3 different,
Yeah,
right.
So your home search now is going to be Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, RE/MAX,
Go
Compass.
to this site for this. Go to this site for this. Here's a link for this.
Yeah, it's not making the consumer experience any better, I don't feel like. But so I don't know. We'll see what the heck. I guess if they own it, they can do whatever they want with it. But that makes me question, too, do we keep our Matterport subscription at that point then, too?
I mean,
I don't want to get rid of it, but if we can't use it for anything, I don't know what. If you can't go to the most popular website, and again, I'm not trying to be a Zillow, shill, but it's the biggest website by head and shoulders. Homes.com is second, but it's like second by like 10 miles back as far as the amount of traffic they're getting. So I don't know. So that's Zillow, Matterport. Thoughts? We need to decide right now. We keep Matterport getting rid of it. So.
How long ago did this happen?
Just in the last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been 24 hours, not even, since my seller was up in arms. And I'm like, how did they know about before I knew about it? Like, what was happening?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, they probably, like, if there anyone else, they get on and check their listing and see what it looks like. Make sure, the description right, the pictures look good, or, how's it looking? And then
why is it not
tour's
selling?
Gone.
It's because of the 3D home tours not on there. That's why it's not selling.
So we've had, like, just on ours, like for the few years we've had it then too. So just total visits just to that Matterport link, 45,000. But if you went to Zillow, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands. So so this is stuff we have pushed, which is good. I mean, that's respectable for our tiny little office to get our direct link out that much.
But you would think that would be so good for Matterport because they're getting out to so many more people.
Right.
You would think that would be a good thing. I don't know.
Well, go ahead.
The whole way that house that you had pulled up most recently, that's how the buyers decided they liked it. They didn't live in the state. They lived out of state.
Right.
They did the 3D tour.
Yeah.
And already had questions for me when we did our Zoom showing of what they could tell from the 3D tour because it is that thorough of certain things and what those look like, or can you measure this, whatever. They already had a great idea of what that house looked like without even stepping foot in there.
Actually, did they ever step foot in before they bought it?
Not before they bought it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
that speaks volumes for Matterport and why it's important to keep something like that forward facing for the public.
Yeah.
I agree.
And there's a lot of people that are buying like that now.
Well, Kari, if you spend 1.6 or 7 billion, you can buy Matterport and do whatever you want with it. But that's what Homes.com is saying right now is we paid the couple billy, it's ours.
I'll go in 1 quarter.
Yeah, we're done. We're not sharing our toy. So
that's crazy.
But yeah, I think it's a detriment to the industry, really. But again, maybe that'll spark some.
But how's Zillow going to do a
competition.
3D tour if you have 3 pictures? If it's a foreclosure, if it's you wouldn't do it on a foreclosure anyway. But if you had one that had a choppy layout or something, how is Zillow going to do their own tour without? I know AI is cool and all that, but I just, again.
I mean, you still can, I guess. Their 3D tour is pretty cool. It's all green.
Well, but
now,
you
but
you had a Matterport to begin with,
right?
I don't think you could do that if. Maybe not.
I feel like the Zillow tour is cool, but the Matterport's just
so much better
Yeah.
than this. It really is. So it is this is the JV version of 3D tours, I would say, for what it is. It's not bad, but
I mean, it's cool that it's. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be better. When there's already a better tool
Yeah.
that's been around for, I mean, how long have we had that camera? 8-9 years,
I'd say
probably
at least
something like
since I
that.
was-
So yeah, so forever. That's a way better tool from almost a decade ago than what their brand new 3D tour is. So, but
Are
I
they
guess go to
still
homes.com. I guess maybe homes.com will be the big thing here shortly. I don't know. I'm not sure what the rate is on that. All right, moving on here real quick. I'll just jump into this. Lost my spot. Housing. So we've got new housing starts hit a 16-year high. So if you look at from back to August 2016, 61,000. I won't read all the numbers all the way up through August of 2025, 124,000. So they've more than doubled of unsold completed new homes. Again, is that little Northwest Ohio? No, because real estate is local. I think it is on the uptrend, but there are certain markets where it's just nuts. So the only time it's been higher in the last like 3 or 4 decades, I think it went back, was right during the great financial crisis, that 2008, 9, 10, I always like to talk about. Apparently it scarred me deeply. Never can get away from it.
Trauma.
So you'll see that it was way higher. I mean, it was up closer to like 200,000 unsold homes. But so we're getting up there compared to, again, COVID time. I think building just slowed down. People are buying stuff up like crazy, but it's been trending up ever since. Since real estate is local, you kind of go through this. I couldn't get this map to open up here, but we're underwater in Ohio. Not literally underwater, but underwater in new housing. So we're still minus the starts that we need, versus you go to, southern Texas, Florida, more of the Sun Belt stuff. They're just way overbuilt. So that number is high, but in our market, not so much until we're still technically underwater in housing. But so, yep. So a decade year high on that. One more quick fun thing. My sister's about to sell her home and sent me a text that she's going to use another agent. How do you respond? Let's end with this.
Sister.
I don't think I could respond.
So I want to know how you guys would respond to
Appropriately.
this then. I got a couple of comments that were hilarious.
That's when you pick up the phone. You don't even text. You just pick up the phone and be
I
like,
was going to say, I know my sister, and I would call her like,
yes.
you better be joking.
Yeah.
Like, there would be some explicatives and
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
just because that's me and my sister, I'd be like, dude,
Same.
for real, like what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this is I've been pranked, right?
Yeah, what's happening here?
Dang.
So I love this one here. So just got to be lovingly think about this stuff. When something happens like that, you need to understand there needs to be they have their reasons. You need to have empathy. You need to communicate in ways. And I would say you're dead to me. So this one, I wish them well. So here's a little meme they have with that friend. I'm closing on a new home next weekend. Sorry we didn't use you. Me, that's okay. Congratulations. You should go buy a new car to celebrate. So that would
that's
pretty
funny.
much kill the deal then as well. There's a bunch of
You
them
should
here.
buy a new car to celebrate.
That was just kind of a funny little story then too. Oh God, I had some more highlighted, but I don't know. If you've been in real estate for more than 2 seconds, you've had that scenario. Friends, family, whatever. The one guy commented, "My friends never use me." Maybe they're not your friends. I don't know.
I was going to say one part I think is like having your friends dive deep into your finances, because we've done that with refis. I'm like, dang, if we do this, or if we like are trying to do something and we go to this bank, or we have an idea, like you don't want your inner circle knowing your moves. So like I can understand some of that,
Right. That's the one person commented that buying and selling a home is an invasive process.
It is,
They went on about
especially
that.
like how much do you owe on your loan to get you your final numbers? Do you have any like
Well, but what I do in
liens?
that scenario too, whenever I set up a net sheet, if I don't already know the number because they told me themselves of what they need to pay off their loan, I just say this is everything, not including the
Whatever you
payoff.
owe,
Like, so
yeah.
you have to take that into account.
Sure.
Because that's not my business to know, unless you're willing to give me that information and that's something that we need to work around.
Right.
For sure. I'm not gonna
No, you don't want
ask.
to pry
Right.
for that.
Yeah.
No.
So like I don't know how much I agree with that, just because we aren't the people that are really dealing
And it's
with
your
their
sister. Like my
finances.
sister knows everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
My sister knows my finances not by choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Not by choice.
But a lot of that stuff does come out in the wash, though. So I've had situations like that where they're behind on their taxes, or they have
Exactly.
delinquencies and things like that. They don't want everybody to know that.
Especially
Yeah.
like
So-
their inner
Yeah,
circle.
like if they're in a bad situation, then
and
maybe
not all families are like super tight
Right.
either.
Sure.
Like, you say your sister, but like I've seen families that they don't even talk.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they're family, and it's like I'm not like
speaking
that.
from
like,
a place of like
Exactly.
Someone you
sister-
talk to every day or
Literally,
something.
yeah.
Right.
So on this, the last little part then too, someone else commented that most searches start on Zillow, on homes, not homes.com. They start on Zillow most of the time then. But so we've been down that rabbit hole to where even people we're working with get on Zillow and just start, we just went, looked at this house, we did whatever. So that I think could happen a lot then, where someone gets excited about a house. Next thing you know, they just click in, somebody showed me the house. I wasn't thinking, I'm sorry, Sierra.
I had one client like almost hang up on an agent on accident because she got really excited and then just called the number that was on the sign. And then she realized what she was doing. And she was like, oh my God.
Right.
She was like, I almost hung up when I realized what I did. And I just had to politely be like, okay, thank you. I just had a couple questions.
I mean, I did that with Bill and another agent in town. Bill and his people were showing me houses, and I just called, and I'm like, oh yeah, they got a hold of Bill and let them know Kari was agent hopping.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah, that happens. We had one this morning, that BG listing, same thing. The lady called and she's like, I know some guy's messaging me from somewhere, some other company. Says he didn't say he was the agent. It said he was the agent. The websites usually do kind of mislead people. She's like, he doesn't know anything. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We'll take care of you.
Yeah.
But I don't know who you're talking to, but that's not the right person.
Yeah.
So. But
I will say one of the little downfalls of the consumer sites, just with advertising opportunities and stuff, they will pop up different agents if they're paying for those ad
It's
spots.
confusing even for us.
Yeah, it does make it confusing because it's usually it always has the listing agent and their information on there, but it's
you have
kind
to
of
click
hidden
14 buttons
with the rest
and,
of the info. But then there's a literal picture and the face of another agent that's paying for advertising.
Like that guy that called and he was all mad because Bobby didn't get back with him. It's like, you're the agent. And he's like, I'm not the agent, but you are the agent. And it says you're the agent. It's like, whoa, simmer down.
Right. So, yeah, I don't like the way the third-party sites do that. But I could see where somebody get lost. But, yeah, if one of my sisters called me and said that,
you're dead to me.
We might go back to that you're dead to me kind of thing then, too. So, all right. Well, we've been yapping pretty long here. That was 59. We're right. Yes, episode 59. Check back to episode 60. I don't have a topic for that yet, you guys.
I kind of do.
Do you?
Yeah, but I feel like
tease it out. I don't have
dead.
anything ready.
I feel like it's dead in the water just because. I'll tell you. So it's blackouts, and what are we going to do as agents if a blackout happens? Whether it's small, because remember last week, beginning of the week, there was a big, and it was affecting everything. So I'm like, okay, that's a good topic.
That was hard, because
you
Luke
still
put
have
working
to try
for me.
to get, you get people that are going to be homeless.
Oh my God, we're gonna go back to the old days. I can talk about all the old.
I know.
We're gonna hand deliver paperwork, and
we're driving to Columbus, Brian.
Yes, we're doing all the things. So we should do. Oh my Lord. We should do that.
Be careful what you wish
a
for.
week where all of us are going to go back to just handwritten.
Agents.
Yeah, we're going to
nothing would get done.
Every contract, we're going to deliver them all.
Every contract would take twice the time.
It would take more, I'm sure.
My rate just went up.
Every showing, you got to call the agent and schedule it.
Oh
so, all right, let's do that. That'll be fun.
Episode
60, back to the old school.
The vintage episode.
All right, do all the things. Like, share, give us your comments, let us know your topics, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping in.